Good afternoon, students. Welcome to Lattice Theory live lecture. In this lecture, we'll see some properties of distributive lattices. So here, in last class, what we have seen, we have discussed the characterization of distributive lattice, right? So what we have is discussed yesterday lecture is that a lattice L is distributive if and only if, what is the condition? What is the condition?
A matrix join C is equal to
No, the characterization which we have proved yesterday.
it does not contain N5 or
Yes.
M3.
Yes. So L does not contain M3 or N5, right? Is this clear? Oh, we have spent almost 3 lectures on this result. Now we'll see some of the properties are corollary which follows from this result. So I can write corollary 1, which says that lattice L is distributive if and only if when you discuss about in terms of relative complement, then we can show that it is lattice L is distributive if and only if every element has at most one relative complement in any interval. Okay. So what is if you recall what is meant by relative complement? What is meant by saying something is relative complement? So we can recall as a definition that we can call it that Y is a relative complement of X in the interval suppose A comma B if, what is the condition? What is meant when we say that Y is a relative complement of X? You forgot? Not even single student? Hello? Are you with me? Hello? 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 Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, yes.
So what is, I'm asking what is meant by Y is a relative complement of X in A comma B? If
Y meet X equal to A and Y join X equal to B.
Very good, very good. So Y meet of those two elements is A and join of those elements is B, right? Okay. So we want to show that if you take any interval, every element has at most one relative complement, then we can call it is distributive, and whenever it is distributive, then it has this property. Okay, fine. Now suppose if L is distributive, then we already proved this result. Okay, if L is distributive, then we have shown already that every element has at most one relative complement. Okay, this is proved already, so I can write here proved already. You can refer our previous notes. Now assume that conversely, if every element has at most one relative complement in given any interval, then we want to show that L is distributive. Okay, so to show this converse, suppose we prove by contradiction, suppose L is not distributive. Okay, what is meaning of saying that L is not distributive? Using this if we use this statement, what we can conclude? It says that L is distributive if and only if L does not contain M3 or N5. So if it is not distributive, then what we get? From this one, if this is distributive, then it happens. If this is not distributive, then what you can say this? Because it is if and only if statement, what we can conclude? What we can conclude? Now you have to respond. Almost half of our syllabus is over, right? What this result says, why I have written here? A lattice is distributive if and only if L does not contain M3 or N5. So whenever it is distributive, M3 is not there as well as N5 is not there. Is this clear? So if it is not distributive, then what we will conclude?
It contains M3 and 5.
It contains either one of them. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
How? So what we can conclude? Then either it contains M3 or N5. Is this clear? So this implies L contains either M3 or N5. So one of them it should be there. Is this clear? But we know that in M3 as well as in N5, one element has more than one relative complement. What is our, how we can, M3, how it look like? Suppose I will call it, this is O, then A, B, C, I, if I call it, this is look like M3, and how our N5 look like? You can write like this, A, B, then O, here C, I. Okay, so this is our N5. So one of them should be there. That means, now what are the elements which have more than one relative complement? Fast. Can we say that this B is a relative complement of A? B is a relative complement of A or not? Why B is a relative complement of A? In the interval this 0i. Tell me fast. Whether B is a relative complement of A or not. I have written here the definition of relative complement. Now I have drawn the picture also, and I am asking whether B is a relative complement of A or not.
Yes, sir.
Why it is a relative complement? What is B meet A?
Because B meet A is
0 or O, you can call it O, and B join A is I, right?
I.
Okay, so B is a relative complement of A in this interval. Now Can you give another relative complement for A?
C is a relative
C is also relative complement of E. Okay, so here B and C in this one, right? B and C are relative complements of A in M3. Okay, of course, we will write this in the interval in this O comma I. Okay, so in M3, B and C are relative complements of A in OI, which is a contradiction. Why it is a contradiction? Because our assumption says that every element can have at most one relative complement given any interval. Now what about here? What is in N5? N5, this A and B, this A and B are relative complements of C or not? Similarly, if we want here also you can write A and B are relative complements of C. Okay, no problem. Similarly, A and C are, so similarly in N5, A and C are relative complements of
Sir, you are not audible. Hello, sir. Your voice are not audible. Hello.
This is actually if and only if statement. That means whenever I join j is this form, we can say that it is distributive. Okay. So just change a sentence. Here we can write a lattice L is distributive if and only if, so this is double implication. For any two ideals I and j, whenever I join j is this, then it is distributive, and whenever it is distributive, I join j will look like this. Okay, fine. Now, how we can prove this? Suppose assume that L is distributive, then we want to show that I join j look like this. Okay, so proof. Suppose L is distributive. Okay, then we want to show that, and let x belongs to I join j. Then we want to show that x can be written as join of two elements. One is coming from I and the other one is coming from j. Is this clear? But if we use this one, what we can say, when some element will be there in join j, you can call it this as, this implies x is less than or equal to I join j. Okay, if you call it for some I is in, for some I in I and j in j. Is this clear? This, so far we have not used anywhere distributive property. We have taken an element in I join j, that means it is less than or equal to I join j for some I in capital I and j is in capital J, right? Now, if this is something like A and this is something like B, so A is less than or equal to B, so what can you say about A meet B? A meet B is same as A only, so therefore this is same as x is equal to x meet I join j. Are you following? Is this step clear? X is same as x meet I join j because x is smaller. Say yes or no? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Whether this step is clear? Now,
Yes, yes.
yes. Now I can apply distributive property for this. What is this is same as? X meet I join with x meet j.
X meet.
Right? Okay. Now, whether x meet I is in I and x meet j is in j or not? What we know about I? Huh? What we know about I? We know that I is in I. So using I is in I and I is an ideal, can you say that x meet I is in I? Why this is true? What is the definition of ideal? If some element is there, then anything less than or equal to it is also there or not? As
Yes, sir.
x meet I is less than or equal to I, okay, and I is an element of that ideal. Is this clear? Similarly, you should respond now, otherwise there is no meaning of discussing every day like this. Similarly, x meet j is in j, right? Is this clear? So therefore we have written x as join of two elements coming from I and j. So if I want, I can write this as x is equal to I1 join j1, okay, where our I1 is x meet I, which is belongs to I, and our j1 is x meet j, which belongs to j. Is this clear? So we proved that if L is distributive, then I join j actually, because any element x taken from I join j, we are able to write as some I1 join j1, right? Conversely, suppose I join j is of that form, that means it is join of such elements. Okay. Now we want to show that, what we want to prove? Tell me what we want to prove. We want to show that our given lattice is distributive, right? So we prove by contradiction. Assume L is not distributive. Okay, then we should get somewhere contradiction. If L is not distributive, then how we get contradiction to given I join J is like this. Okay. How we'll proceed? If L is not distributive, then somehow we should get a contradiction to this I join J is like this, right? So how we'll get that? We have to use this result. If it is not distributive, then it contains either M3 or N5, right? Okay. So this implies L contains either M3 or N5. Okay. So we'll also write them so that we can understand better. This I'll call it O. Suppose I'll call it, this is A, then B, and then C, and here I. This is our M3. Okay, and N5. This is O. Suppose call it here B, and then A. This is N5. Okay. So therefore there exists this ABC either satisfying this condition or this condition. Is this clear? That implies there exists ABC in L. Okay. Which satisfies this condition. Okay. Either M3 or N5 conditions. Are you following what I am saying? Is that clear? Is that clear or not? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Yes or no? Otherwise I'll stop. There is no point of discussing. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me or not?
Yes sir, yes.
So why you are all not replying? When I ask something, you should.
नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम है सर,
हाँ?
शायद नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम होगा.
सबको नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम कैसे रहते हो? Whether you are paying attention or not.
Yes sir.
So whenever I ask small things, you should respond. Okay. Fine.
Yes,
So
sir.
we have A, B, C like this. Now the idea is we should get some I and J, some ideal I and some ideal J. Okay. Then we know that I and J will be of this form. Somewhere we should get a contradiction. So here we will consider, let I is equal to the ideal generated by B, okay, and J is equal to the ideal generated by C. So we will take this one, right? Then somehow we should get a contradiction satisfying some condition. Here what we know? Here if we get in this case, A and ABC, they are not comparable. Here A is strictly bigger than B. So somehow we will try to show that A is less than or equal to B, then we get a contradiction. Okay. If A is less than or equal to B, if we get, then that is contradiction to here as well as here, because A, B, C are not comparable elements here, and here A is strictly bigger than B in this case. Okay, that is the contradiction we are going to get. How we will do that? How we can show that? Now if you observe A, what is B join C? What is B join C? B join C, in any case, it is I, and we know that A is less than or equal to I, right? So then A belongs to I join J. Why A belongs to I join J? Because as A is less than or equal to B join C. Okay, B join C, which is nothing but, right? But our I joins A, I join J is nothing but of this form, right? Okay. So how we do now? This implies A is equal to, I'll write here as some X join Y, where, what can we say X? Where X belongs to I and Y belongs to J, because of this one. Any ideal I join J look like this. So we got some element in I join J, so therefore that we can exactly write as A is equal to X join Y, where X is in I and Y is in J. Okay, fine. Now we'll try to compare with this B and all, because see, our idea is, can we somehow show that A is less than or equal to B? If we can show that A is less than or equal to B, that contradicts to here as well as here, because here A is strictly bigger than B. So how we can show that A is less than or equal to B? If we can show that A belongs to I, if we can show that A belongs to I, then it is a contradiction. Okay, fine. So how we will show that A belongs to I? We know already X belongs to I. So if we can show that Y also belongs to I, then A belongs to I. So how we can show that Y belongs to I is the question, right? So how Y is less than or equal to C. Okay, so this Y is less than or equal to A, and also because Y belongs to J, but J is the principal ideal generated by C, this implies Y is less than or equal to A, and also Y is less than or equal to C. This implies Y is less than or equal to Y is less than or equal to A meet C, or A join C. How we should get B here is the question, right? Y is here, so yes. So therefore Y is less than or equal to A meet C, but in any case, what is meet of these values? Either here or here, meet of this thing is O, and we know that O is strictly less than each and every element. So this is equal to O, but O is less than, strictly less than B. So we are getting that Y is strictly less than B, right? But that means Y belongs to, this implies Y belongs to the ideal I, because what is meant by I? Contains all elements which are less than or equal to B. Is that clear? So we proved that
Yes,
this
sir.
this Y is in J, and now we proved that Y is in I also, right? So this implies Y belongs to I join J, right?
Yes, sir.
This Y belongs to I join J, right? And why we require this? We are our idea is to show that the contradiction to that, means A is less than or equal to B we want to show. Okay, so how we will show that A is less than or equal to B? What we said here. yeah, A belongs to I join J, okay, and if at all we want to show that A belongs to I, okay, then what is our A? Yes, yes. So we have written A is equal to X join Y, right? And we shown that Y belongs to I. So where is the problem? Yes. So because Y is in I and X is also in I, right? So therefore A, which is equal to X join Y, this belongs to I. Since I is an ideal, X is in I and Y is in I, this implies their join is also in ideal. That shows that A belongs to I. So if A belongs to I, right, this implies our I is nothing but A belongs to I, which is equal to the principal ideal generated by B. This implies A is less than or equal to B, which is a contradiction. Why this is a contradiction? In M3, first of all, A, B, C are not comparable. And in N5, whatever we have taken here, A is strictly bigger than B. So in both cases, it is contradiction. This contradiction arises because we have assumed that L is not distributive. So therefore, L has to be distributive, right? Okay. So a lattice is distributive if and only if given any two ideals, if we can write I join J in this form, right? Okay. We'll discuss one more result. Again, using property of this, you can call it distributive property, which says that in a distributive lattice, L, if I meet J and I join J are principal ideals, then I and J are principal. Okay. So what this statement says, in a distributive lattice, if you take two ideals I and J, if they meet and join, they are principal ideals, then they have to be principal ideals I and J. Is that clear? Statement clear? Huh? So if at all meet of I and J and join of I and J are principal ideals in a distributive lattice L, then I and J have to be principal ideal. That is what this statement says. Okay, fine. Let's prove this statement. How we prove it here? Somehow we want to show that there exists some element which generates I and some element which generates B, right? So given that I meet J and I join J, okay, are principal. This implies you can write I meet J is generated by something like X, okay, and you can write I join J is generated by Y. Can we write like this or not? Because they are principal ideals, they are generated by some element X and some element Y, right? Okay. Now we know about I join J. What we know about I join J in any distributive lattice? Just now what we have proved. I join J is join of such elements, right? So whenever we have some element in join, since, can you give some element here which is there in I join J? Huh? Whatever I have written in this, can you give some element which is there in join? This Y is there in I join J or not? Because Y is there in this ideal which is equal to this. So since Y belongs to I join J and by previous result we can get y is equal to, how we can write, some I join j. Is this clear? So we can able to write this y is equal to I join j for I is in I and j is in j. Is this clear? Any problem?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what we will show is that somehow we want to show that I and j are principal ideals. Okay. So we want to show that I is generated by some element and j is generated by some element. That we will take the help of x. Okay. So we will call it, let b is equal to this x join I and c is equal to x join g. Okay. Now we show that this I is generated by one of this element and j is generated by one of this element. We will show that this I is generated by this b. Okay. We will show that our claim is that I is generated by this b and j is generated by this c, because this j is coming from this and I is coming from here, so we can see. One way is clear, which is contained here, which is contained there. Which is contained here. What we know about this x? This x belongs to here, so therefore x belongs to I as well as x belongs to j, right? That means this b is x join I. This belongs to b is contained in I or not? Why this b, whatever we have here, belongs to that interval, this I? Whether this x belongs to where? Since this I intersection j, we already proved that it is same as I intersection j. Okay. This implies x belongs to I as well as x belongs to j, right? This implies b, which is join of x and I, so therefore b belongs to I and c belongs to j, right? So we have, that means this implies if b is there, then the ideal generated by that is contained in I, and the ideal generated by c is contained in g, right? Now we want to show that they are actually equal. Okay. Now suppose this b is strictly not equal to I. What is the meaning of saying this? This implies there exists an element here which is not here. There exists some a belongs to I such that a is not in the ideal b, right? But what is meant by saying that a is not in there in this principal ideal? What is this principal ideal? All the elements which are less than or equal to that, right? All the elements which are less than or equal to b. So a is not in this b means what? A is strictly bigger than b. Is this clear? Are you following? Is this step clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Suppose
Yes, sir.
we are getting that b is contained in I and c is contained in j. We want to show they are actually equal, right? Suppose not. That means what? If at all it is strictly contained in I, that means there exists an element in the ideal I which is not in this principal ideal. So A is not in the principal ideal, B means A is strictly bigger than B, right? Okay, so now we will try to get some pentagon, then that will be a contradiction to our distributive lattice. How we get? Because here we have already got A is greater than B, then you can consider the following elements: A, B and C. Okay, so I'll draw this A, then B, and we have C here, and we'll try to get these elements. What are those elements? Here you can see that our y is I join J, okay, and B is X join I, C is X join J. So therefore I can write here what are the elements I have to take. Okay, so this X, so let me take this X, Y. Suppose if I write here X and if I write here Y, then we want to check whether this actually forms a, so then this X, okay, this A, B, C and Y forms a pentagon, which will be a contradiction. Why that will be true? First of all, B join, what is B value? B is X join I. So obviously it is bigger than X. It is bigger than X or not? Similarly, C is equal to X join something. So it is bigger than this. Now try to show that B join C is equal to X. Okay. And that means we want to check these elements form a pentagon. So you just verify it. And if you have any difficulty, and you can ask me. Now can you see why A is less than Y and C is less than Y? What is our A? A is coming from I, right? This A is coming from I, and what is Y? Our Y is equal to the ideal I join J, right? So can you see why A is less than Y as well as C is less than Y? A is coming from I, but I is less than or equal to I join J or not? Okay. Similarly, what is C? C is belongs to J and J is less than or equal to I join Y. So here you can verify that A is so you can see here, check or observe that A is less than or equal to Y and C is also less than or equal to Y, as what is the reason? As A belongs to I, but I is less than or equal to I join J, but I join J is nothing but the ideal generated by Y. Ideal generated by
One.
Y, right? That shows that A also belongs to Y, that means A is less than or equal to Y. And what is for this C? C belongs to J, J is less than or equal to I join J, which is this. Okay. So try to verify all the values and check why this forms a pentagon. Are you following? To check pentagon, what are all the conditions we have to check? B join C should be equal to X. This B join C. Check whether, meet of these two. So what are all you have to verify? Verify that B meets C. B meets C is X. Okay. And this A join C and B join C is Y. A join C, B join C is Y. And if you are not getting this B meets C is equal to X and A join C, B join C is equal to Y, and we have to use distributive wherever necessary. Are you following? For example, what is our B? B is X join Y and C is X join J. So we get by using meet X join x meet I join j, but x meet y, we get that. What is x meet y? You check and you can find that, right? So verify these things. Once we are verified, we get a contradiction. Okay. So which is a contradiction. That means because our L is distributive, which is not possible. Hence, this arised because we have assumed that it is strictly unequal. So therefore, our I should be generated by B, and similarly you can J is generated by C. Is this clear? Right? Okay. So we'll stop here and we'll see some more properties in next class. Right?